It is. Never run alone. Joined by a couple of giggling boys at the start of a pod. It's a new week.
Bloody
and
marvellous.
Chris Farrencothen, Cam Merrick. We're sad to be missing Sissy Bergman.
We
But
are.
we're 4.5 weeks out. How are we both feeling? Cam?
We're dialed. We're into the final stretch. I was running tonight and I started visualizing the hard parts of the race, the last K. First time in a while I've probably started visualizing, the feeling of running the last K.
Big.
Started thinking about that crispy beer I'm going to have after the finish.
Mate.
A lot of bits and pieces like that are just starting to.
St. Patrick's
me
Day
across the
yesterday. You want that Guinness, Chris?
I did.
You had a Guinness yesterday. You've lost your mustache. I've only just actually
lost my
realised.
mustache.
Yeah, that's
A lot of
that's
hair on
tough.
top, but none on the face.
Yeah, that
solid.
has thrown me.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I did out of
It was
respect
different.
for
Enjoy.
St. Patrick. I had a sacred Guinness yesterday, and it was very yummy.
Creamy.
Very
Yeah,
yummy.
Jealous.
There you go.
Yeah, you sent a photo of the chat. It was like the temptation. Anyway,
I might lose some street cred here, but I've never had a Guinness.
there you go.
Oh,
Well, you haven't drunk in a while, so maybe it was
In my
before they
life.
sort of popped
That
off.
tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon they were pretty big before my sobriety kicked in 4.5 years ago, but
Yeah, but they've had a resurgence.
big
You
research.
also haven't been to Ireland, so
That is true. That is
couple,
true.
couple things.
Enough
Maybe
about
in
my
Boston.
personal life. Yeah, maybe in Boston. If I somehow manage a really great run from nowhere. But we'll get to that later in the show. We're going to be chatting about our Boston builds. We also have a very special guest insert, which
sure
is
do.
a 3-time Australian Olympian, Pat Tiernan. Cam and I spoke to him just over a week ago now, but we'll have that to come midway through the show. And then, as always, a buy sell to end. But we'll kick things off with some warm-up questions. You can submit these via Instagram, and we've had a few come via DMs as well. But first one, we're going to go to Sienna Ashen. She has asked, do your legs get sore after sessions or long runs? How do you optimize recovery? Maybe start with you on this one, Cam. What do you think?
Absolutely, they do. Almost perennially sore at the moment, deep into a block. But no, I think we've spoken about it a bunch, but what kind of does do a world of difference and good is like a proper warm-up and warm-down. But like on the weekend, like watching some of the proper like elite guys at this race do a proper, drills, warm-up, cool down. I was like, this is why they do it.
What
as they
separates
run
the
off
men
into
from the boys?
Yeah, if they run off into the sunset away from me during the race. But no, I think the proper warm up, cool down, sleep, getting food in straight away, all those bits and pieces, and then just strengthen the gym. That's the biggest thing I find for me. Like the more you do gym work, the more resilient your muscles are and the more strong you are. But yeah, completely normal to feel sore, and just listen to the body. It's the biggest thing. Pretty simple.
I think to follow on from that, in the simple field is water is so important. I think especially for just lactic flushing, just getting your blood moving and getting staying hydrated properly to flush out all of the lactic that you've just built up in those sessions is it's a good one. Something that's very easy to miss in the day after, like say you do a morning session, just making sure you are smacking many a liter of water that day definitely helps.
Cool.
Love it. Yeah, I'd just add, absolutely they do get sore. I think it's a good sign that you're, stressing the body enough to grow and, become a faster runner, build that fitness and endurance. But certainly I like to, get out for a walk as well.
I was about to say, great one.
Potentially later in the day, if you're doing a morning session, get out, after dinner, great time to go for a walk. But yeah, just
bit of movement.
Movement, exactly. It's medicine. So whether it's stretching before bed or doing something, definitely. But good luck to you, Sienna.
There's probably one to think about there, especially if you're a newish runner building up load, to recognize the difference between joint and, other sort of stresses versus just muscle soreness. Like the more you run, the more you get aware of that. But it's very easy to just be like, oh, yep, I'm sore. That's normal. But there is like a balance between staying aware of not just being like everything's
Injury
sore, that's
sore.
normal. Yep, my legs are meant to feel like shit. It's like, yeah, well, think about it. Like if it's muscle soreness, then fine. But if it's like
There are
my knee is
levels.
aching every time I take a step, probably a different kind of sore. So yeah, listen to the body.
Yeah, once you're through like the first few minutes of your next run, if you're fine, that's probably not a bad injury. It's just general soreness, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But I'd say most runs, maybe the day after, you're still gonna have a bit of soreness.
For sure.
Great question. Great question. Good luck to you, Sienna, with your running. Next up, we have Sean McClure, treadmill, for or against it. Yeah, I'm sure he's probably doing a bit of treadmill running, right? Dubai.
I think it has its place.
It's in Abu Dhabi.
I was chatting to Sean. I was chatting to Sean this week, and funnily enough, about treadmill running. And he was saying that he's stuck running on a treadmill at the moment because his GPS is completely cooked because of all the satellite or non-activity blocked satellites or whatever over the Middle East. And so he can't actually triangulate himself when he does a run, so he has to run on the treadmill.
Crazy.
Which is just such a niche problem to have.
That's if he wants to obviously measure his runs.
Yeah.
He could just still go outside.
Yeah.
It's also probably 40 degrees out there.
Yeah.
Also that. But besides Warzone running requiring you to be on a treadmill, I reckon that I hate running on a treadmill. I'm just going to put that out there. It's the worst thing in the entire world. It's so boring. Yuck. But I think they're really good for holding paces and just not having to think about it. If you have a hard session that like some kind of fartlek where you're shifting between a lot of places quickly, or you just want to lock into something, say, I don't know, 30 minutes at tempo, and you just want to hit 340 or whatever you're running at and not think about it, perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm not a treadmill guy. I find it often, I don't know, something about it. I just feel like it changes my form a bit, and I end up on my joints, the impact feels more. It's probably placebo, but that's just the take I have. And I'd rather run in any other condition than on the treadmill. But I do agree that the ability to you probably have to take into account that you probably are going to be able to run a little faster on the treadmill than you would be out on the road. So got to kind of think of a couple seconds ahead.
Putting the treadmill in a 1% incline is the best kind of I guess what do you call it? Best middle ground to try. Yeah, best way to make it feel as though you're on the road.
Yeah. Anyway, I just think that like getting that stimulus in, if it's getting you to run, get out and use a treadie. But I know at the moment it's been raining today in Sydney. Probably a couple of people who are maybe sticking to the indoors. I know. I think it was Jimmy Whelan, who's a massive. Jimmy Whelan, a massive proponent of the treadmill. So maybe it is the key. But was talking about also how pretty much every gym you go to is extremely hot and humid. So running on the treadmill is often a good way to test the humidity and heat training as well. So yeah.
Do most treadmills even get up to the paces that, people running super fast want?
No, I think most of them would probably top out at 3 minutes a K.
Okay. Well, that's still pretty quick.
That is still pretty quick. But if you're ripping a session, for a top level, probably not. But there's probably treadmills out there that do. I still remember the one I did at treadmill race last year, and it was like the AI one that like you'd go forward and it would speed up, and then you go back and it would like slow down. Great in concept, but it was too sensitive. So like you could not find a zone where you sat. Exactly what you were saying, Chris. Like you could not sit in a pace if you tried. Like it was a mental challenge just to sit right in the zone of where you wanted to be. It was It was tough. So yeah, not for me. But like tonight, I had a rain run. It was just great. Loved it. Cleared the mind. Couple of tunes. Good.
Yeah. As long as there aren't missiles flying over your head, hey?
Yeah, that's true.
Satellites beware.
Does get a bit harder when you're in the Middle East. So shout out Shawnee.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Not for them. I've actually done a few, but not in the last few years since I would properly class myself as a runner. I weirdly did them when I was like in my early 20s.
Yeah, same.
Just
or run more intermittently and you're like, if I'm in the gym, I'll just do 20 on the treadmill.
Yeah, and
Like,
go as hard as you can, basically.
Yeah,
or like
of
start
course.
at like 14 and then finish at
max
like
it out.
18 and think you're mad. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. I wonder if Pat, who we're talking to later, does a bit more treadmill stuff. Being in the US and it gets kind of cold. I know it's a bit more common there. When it's similar to the opposite of being super hot in the Middle East, it is freezing cold in Northeast America.
Yep.
Sure, it's a
All
big
those
part of
people
it.
in Boston right now training for Boston or
It was
certain
minus
parts of
one
the US.
in Boston yesterday. I had a look.
Yikes.
Old mate Floberg loves a treadmill run. He's got one of those Wahoo fancy treadmills and spends a lot of time using that thing. Especially, obviously, he's based in Chicago and it is cold there.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, imagine it's like you said, for him, and you broke it right to as well, Chris. Like as a dad, if you can look after your kids, you can't really just run out for like an hour, and like, if you can keep them within arm's reach if something goes wrong, like being able to run a tradie in your garage is a game changer.
Mate.
So, yeah,
if I had a tradie in my garage, I would use it.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, love it.
Nice one. Great question, Shawnee. Good luck. What's he training for at the moment?
London.
Chris, you were speaking to him? You guys,
London, I think. Yeah.
London.
Yeah.
Love
him and
that.
Chloe, they're probably, 5 or 6 weeks out from London. So,
yeah.
Dialed.
There you go. Beautiful stuff. We'll go lastly to Sissy, who's not with us today, but out of respect and love. Great question as well. It helps. If it was a bad question, probably wouldn't ask it. She wants to know,
Disrespectfully,
if you could be any fictional character, who would it be and why? Movie, film, TV, movies and films, quite similar, I believe. But yeah, what have you got?
Really odd one just came straight to my head was Santiago Munez from Goal. I don't know if that is a super deep cut for anyone who doesn't know. That's like a early 2000s movie about this guy who gets like scouted at his local park and then sort of like rises to be like playing professional football. And the movie has all these cameos from like David Beckham and all these other like they're in the movie. It's like this crazy movie. As a kid, it's like your fairy tale story of you just get picked up from a park and then within a year you're playing in the Premier League. But yeah, that was for some reason what first came to my mind. Probably fulfill some childhood sporting fantasies with that.
You're just trying to channel that for your running, though, right? You've gone from soccer to running in the Olympics in less than 2 years.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Exactly right. It's like when you're a kid. I kept seeing memes recently of that when you're a kid and it's like trying super hard at the park because someone's there just like at the park and you're thinking they're a scout when they're probably just like some random. It's like
just an old dude with a clipboard doing his Sudoku.
Yeah, exactly right.
Love
that. That's my pick.
Chris, who are you?
Immediately came into my mind Batman.
All right, mate.
Yeah,
explain that, Dad.
Bruce Wayne.
You got a man cave with your bat cave with your treadmill down there, or what?
Mate,
you could have been further away from Batman's build.
To be fair, he's clean shaven. He's gone the full
tall, skinny.
Bruce Wayne. Is Bruce Wayne?
Unlimited funds.
Yeah,
ridiculous amount of cash. Can do whatever he wants. Buy himself a Batmobile.
Though. No family.
Build himself a Batmobile. Yeah, this is true.
Bad luck, Kirsty.
And the kids.
And the kids. Yeah, but I like it.
What are you going to do as Batman? Are you
be...
going to save people, or are you going to just lock in on that 2 year to sub 215?
220, yeah.
220.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
It. I like it.
Nice.
I saw this. I saw someone talking about a while ago Ben Affleck's like career path and like why he made his career decisions. Like he's gone through like where he's out of favor, then he was back in the scene, like had a few hit movies, came back, like he's all over the place. And there was a moment where he like went to be Batman, and they're like, I wonder like why I did that. And one of the guys just goes, I feel like when you're a dad at some point and you're a big movie star, it's like I just want to be a superhero. I'm just going to be Batman. So my kids can be like, my dad's Batman. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. I probably want to do that too if I was him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly right.
I mean, we're definitely not in superhero land, but if I came home to Frankie and was like, Frankie, I'm on place.
Batman.
She'd lose her mind.
Love that. Readers, what do you got?
Great shout. I'd just be Jim Carrey in all of his movies. Ace
Ventura,
Pet Detective, Dumb and Dumber.
You've got the hair for it. You could kind of pull off his characters.
Bro, Lloyd Christmas, in Dumb and Dumber, he's phenomenal with that. yeah, there's so many. So
You can be Truman. Do you reckon your Truman show? Like, do you ever
yeah,
feel like
Truman
your life's just a
Show.
lot of cameras on you?
Yeah, I'll be looking out. I mean, there's one on me right now. I got a light. Who knows what's going on?
That'd be real
So-
meta if in Truman's show he's like recording podcasts weekly. Like,
it would be good. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I like it. I like it.
Cable Guy, another
Jeez.
classic Jim
Yeah, The
Carrey.
Mask.
So yeah, the mask.
Grinch.
Oh, how good's the mask?
The Grinch.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a lot. You can be a Grinch
He's-
sometimes.
he's phenomenal. Obviously, he was in the news recently, right? Apparently, not him, but
yeah, body
anyway,
doubled.
maybe not go
Yeah,
down
yeah,
that
something like
rabbit
that.
hole. But I saw a few AI generated photos popping up on the timeline of
I
people
liked it. I
with
like it.
him. But yeah, love Jim Carrey. Great question, sis. Beautiful. Well, that is the warm up. Anyone who wants to submit questions, feel free to DM or send them through around the Tuesday, Wednesday, midweek on our Instagrams.
Shout out
I'm
all the
gonna
new listeners after
yeah, big
last week's
shout out to all the
episode.
new listeners. A few great questions that we can probably come to in the coming weeks as well as we get closer to Boston. We're all running that in a month's time. But one question that we can maybe segue into is from a guy, Matt Potter, who, a week ago came to us. He's running Launceston in 12 weeks, and he wants the best tips for a middle-aged weekend warrior. He wants to run a fast 10K. Now, Cam, you were in Tasmania over the weekend
I was.
and ran a pretty fast 10K.
Ran a
So
fast
maybe you
10K.
can give him a tip or two and then lead us into your last week of training
Tip or
and
two.
that run. Yeah.
A tip or two. Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is just like consistent build of aerobic base, and then if you can, as a weekend warrior, it's hard at times to sprinkle in some speed work. But for a 10K, like you definitely need to try and get some kind of speed work in. It's definitely, again, I'm taking this as if someone's like, running a couple times a week, just getting out when they can, and trying to run a quick 10K. You're probably not going to have a chance to do like track or do something else. But if you can mix in some of that sharper stuff, you don't need to like go and rip a 5K every week. Like don't have to go smash a park run every weekend and absolutely go red line the way. But yeah, I just think if you can mix in some structured training, even if it's every 2 weeks into your block, that's going to make a nice difference with a bit of sharper stuff, and also helps not just like mentally knowing you can hit certain paces, but also working on your running economy. The faster you go, the better, more economical you become, and that transcends to other parts. So there's a whole bunch of bits to it. But yeah, I just say if you can fit stuff like that in, it's great stuff. And also gym. I'll always go back to saying fitting gym in is a way to get yourself faster. Easiest hack.
Love that.
Absolutely.
You guys have both raced the Harbour 10K last year, right? Is that the only 10Ks outside of this one you've just done, Cam?
Sun Run a few weeks ago.
Sun Run,
that
of
was
course.
yeah,
that a
that
bit
was,
more?
yeah, I've done the
14?
Sun Run
That was 10.
and
Okay.
Harbour 10.
just
Yeah.
90% humidity and hills, so it wasn't necessarily a PB waiting to happen. But yes,
Perfect.
the weekend or the week, I had a deload week this week, which was great. It was much needed. Probably only ran like 65K down from like 120-ish the week before.
Mate, you must be feeling fresh.
Yeah, I did race a 10K on the weekend, so that probably
This is true.
nullified some of that. But
Pre
I think
10K, you would have been feeling good.
yeah, I felt pretty good before that. Everything else has been pretty sore since. But yeah, I was down in Tassie, in Devonport on Sunday to run the Bluff to Boat Ramp 10K.
Stacked field, eh?
Yeah, they've really Brian is the name of the guy who sort of organises it. Great bloke, just a real like local. Loves getting around his Tassie running. And they've really got a lot of sort of backing and support for that race to, try and make it like a sort of destination, a really high quality elite field, which they got. I went down on Friday morning to Launceston, had an extra day there than probably most people who raced, but wanted to figure I'd make an extra day trip out of it. Worked down there on Friday, went out to Devonport. They took us out on Saturday, put us up Saturday night, and then raced Sunday. Had a good race, probably not my best. Was kind of hoping for a bit better, but kind of found myself. I sent you guys the drone shot from the video after today where you could see about a K and a half into the race, there's a pack of 10 or 11 guys, and then there's like about 150 meters, and there's me, and then there's another 150 meters, and then another pack. So I'm just in absolute no man's land. So it was
It's
tough.
so
but
good.
Did you catch
Yeah.
anyone at any point, like from that
I had
moment?
one guy who dropped off. Yeah, one guy dropped off that pack and like sort of just he ended up running like 31 high. So he didn't crash out, but I did catch him and then sort of pick him up about 5K and go like pretty much straight past.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one else really dropped back. Like there's about a minute and a bit gap from me to Sam Clifford, who was ahead of me, and then behind me was probably another minute or so. So yeah, but it was a great weekend. Met a whole bunch of like really, really great people. Had a lot of good chats with people. It was a bit daunting, I will say, walking into like the elite room and like people like the guy I was staying with, Ben, who was a really nice guy from Melbourne. Like, yeah, he just sort of knew a bunch of the guys. I sort of knew people in there because I'm a bit of a running nuffy, so I knew some of the people. But they didn't know me. So just trying to tack on to, like, oh, let's go for a warm up. I'm like, yep, jump in. I'm going to just jump in on this and try and put myself out there. But anyway, yeah, it's great. A lot of really nice people. Yeah, a lot of great runners. It was really impressive and also just kind of humbling as well, which was good just to be put back in the mix of there's a lot of people who are in a lot better shape over the 10K than I am. So it got me fired up for that and got me excited to race. So I think,
Love that.
yeah, it was
Mate,
great.
I'm just looking at your Strava. You closed the last 400 meters so fast. You got
Yeah, I
up to
definitely
like
found
2:30.
Yeah, I sprinted the last bit. I found a bit of a kick at the end because I
Yeah.
knew I was close to going sub 31, and I ended up missing it by 3 seconds, which is a bit frustrating. On another day, different pack, maybe a flatter course, get it done. But I was happy with that as a good effort.
Emptied the tank though, mate. Well done.
I did.
Yeah,
I
That's all
did.
you can ask for.
But yeah, I was talking
Always
with
have a kick.
Yeah, was talking with it was interesting. Like I was talking with this guy Jacob Cox after, lovely guy from Adelaide, and we'll chat footy about athletics, a bit of other stuff. But just it's always interesting, like talking to guys who have been around it for a long time and just hearing, appreciating the layers of effort they've got after years and years and years. Like it's just stacking and stacking, and it's just a testament to those guys who are at the very top. That it doesn't just happen overnight. So yeah, it's great. Had a good chat with a whole bunch of them. There was, for context, there was probably I think it was 10 guys who went under 30, 3 or 4 went under 29. So you're not going to get many better like Oz fields around for a 10K than that. And yeah, Jen Gregson win the women's race 4 days after, or like a week after running Nagoya Marathon in Japan in a 2:25. So rolled straight into this.
She's
And ran
unbelievable.
33. Yeah, absolute weapon. Spent a lot of time at the airport with her after the race because
just
we were
ran-
both waiting for a late flight.
She did Valencia in December. Then
She did Valencia in December. Yep. And then
Nagoya
ran
now
Nagoya.
a week
Yeah.
ago, and then
Yeah.
jeez,
Didn't she
and
give
gave
birth
birth
not
8 months
that?
ago.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
that recently. Incredible.
Yeah, I think it was kind of like probably 4 months or something. I think she gave
Before
birth around
Valencia?
like July last year. So
Yeah.
it was right around Gold Coast last year. So anyway, great weekend. Shout out to everyone who was there. Shout out to everyone I met. If anyone who was there was listening to the pod, appreciate it. Just throwing around the pod quietly. Bit of
Hi, I'm
guerrilla
Cam.
marketing.
Did you know I'm on a podcast?
Need to get some merch, some shorts, just with Never Run Alone on the backside.
Some
or
real
something.
short spooties that show Never Run Alone.
Yeah.
I might be running alone if I wore those shorts, but anyway. So that was my week. Good week.
How-
We're dialing into the last 3 weeks.
How was the crowd? How was the crowd in Tassie? Just a quick word on that.
Yeah.
Were there
It was-
many people out?
It was decent. It was Davenport's not a big place. It's 25,000 people. It's pretty small, but I'd say probably 10% of the town was out running. So it was it was really good.
Running the Sydney Marathon, then live in Davenport.
Yeah. So not a huge place, but again, testament that they put on such a great event. And the hospitality was unreal. Like they picked us up from Launceston, dropped us at Davenport, and it was just volunteers. Like they were lovely. So yeah, a lot of time for them. We'll happily go back and hopefully try and do it again next year.
Beautiful.
So good.
Love it.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Chris, how's your week been, mate? Last 7
It's been
days
good.
or so.
Last week was a big week. First proper like long run session. that I'd done.
Huge.
It was what I run. I ran a progression run. Did 5K easy, 5K 4:30, 5K 4:15, 5K race pace 3:55, and then just cool down after that. And felt so strong. Really, really nailed it. Which was a bit of a
Sick.
confidence booster.
Good spot to
So
be.
yeah, body's feeling good. I think like post that, I was like body was jacked. Like legs were just tight. So yeah, legs do hurt after a long run or after a session. So
Especially
I
the first
didn't
one
run.
in a while, right? First one,
Yeah,
as you say.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I ran Saturday, Sunday, just a like easy 6K, 6.5, I think. And then didn't run yesterday. Didn't run, sorry, Monday. Gave the body a break for a day, and it was definitely needed and did wonders. Ran yesterday and then again today. Just did like there's in Sydney between the Opera House and Mr. Macquarie's Chair. There's a nice like 2 gates, and it's about 900 meters. So just did 4 reps, kind of progressively cutting down. So I think like my top end speed's definitely coming back, which is nice. And slowly getting more efficient in that kind of marathon like threshold spot. So yeah, feeling good.
Good spot to be, baby.
Another probably 65-ish this week. We'll do a 25K long run over some undulating Lane Cove National Park hills.
Yeah, we will.
Which will feel good.
Beautiful. I miss that place. It's a good
Mate,
spot to run.
God's country.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, gonna be running there on the weekend. It's gonna be good. Love it. And some bike
but yeah,
riding.
need to do some more bike riding.
Get that mileage up.
Yeah, get that mileage or get that cardio mileage up.
The volume.
But yeah, everything's
Nice.
ticking well. So gym, etc., is all being hit, which is good. It's just the bike to kind of get more of that cardio stimulus hasn't been able to happen last week, but is on the agenda for sure. So
Love it.
happy days.
Love it, man.
Rindle.
How are you, Rindle?
My week, probably the best week of the year for me. Hit 43 Ks
Whoa.
total. And
Dare I say he might be back.
Could be back. We'll see how this week goes. But
how's
yeah,
the old
feeling-
ITB
days
after
back.
big week?
feeling good. ITB's good. Like I got a massage today, so we're recording Wednesday, and had that booked in from a month ago, and he was already sort of saying, it feels way better. And I've noticed that there's been no discomfort really. Like I'd say the awareness is probably like at a 2 out of 10, whereas before it was probably like a 6 or a 7. So feeling a lot better. Pulled up really well after 18 Ks on the Sunshine Coast on Sunday, which very flat, admittedly, like one hill going over a bridge, over a bit of a body of water. But other than that,
A
just
pothole.
Opposite of undulating.
flat as.
Yeah.
But no, overall, really good week. Like I think I got 5 runs in, split. I was meant to do 9 Ks on Thursday and had to split that across Thursday and Friday. So just 3 and a 6. But yeah, really happy with where I'm at. Just all the stretching. Haven't probably done enough strength work, I would say, is the only issue. But got in the pool, swam a whole kilometer. And then followed it up with some sauna as well. So that was good to get back.
Nice.
I'm going to try to hit 2 Ks in the pool this week, do a strength session, at least
Love
one. And aiming for 23K longie this weekend and 55 Ks total. So
Come
that's
on.
where we're at. And the
Considering you were
massage got
barely
me
running a
good,
month
so-
ago.
Yeah, considering where I was at, I did 10 Ks yesterday, and felt really good in some strides, and that was mainly hills. I was running in Bendigo, so bit more hills than Sunshine Coast. So yeah, we'll hold the I'm fully back for a couple of weeks, but the appetite to run is very there. So
That's
I'm
great, man.
excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
just maybe
That's
not
half the battle.
visualizing the finish line at Boston just yet, but I feel confident that I
enough.
can stack a few good bricks, and who knows what happens on
Give it
race
a
day.
nudge.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll
yeah.
be super fresh.
Who
Mate,
knows,
you're
man?
gonna be starting in front of me, and so you'll have the threat of me slapping your ass the whole way.
Yeah, that's.
Am I starting
God,
in
that
front
would
of you? I don't think I am.
No, you're corral 3. I'm 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah,
start
and then
time is
come
10
on.
a.m.,
roll,
so
3,
it's not
4,
going to be.
yeah.
I'm not going to be that much further ahead.
Yeah, he's going to get you within 2Ks. Chris
Me and
go
Sissy,
too
well,
fast.
Sissy and I will be next to each other at least.
Yeah.
So
Love that.
anyway, so that's
Love
been the
that.
week. Great stuff. Well, that's Boston for the three of us. And as I mentioned at the top, we did speak to Pat Tiernan earlier on. So we'll now throw to him. Please enjoy Pat Tiernan. And we're joined now by Pat Tiernan, three-time Australian Olympian. Pat, welcome to Never Run Alone.
Thanks for having me, fellas. Appreciate it.
Nice
You're
pass.
welcome, mate. We are here on the east coast of Australia. It's early on a Monday morning, and we're joined 4 p.m., I believe. Whereabouts in the US are you joining us from?
Yeah, up in Philadelphia, on the east coast of the US. So, yeah, bang on for 4 p.m. over here.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So we're going to be discussing a bit about your history in running. We're all running Boston Marathon, which is part of why we wanted to get you on and unpack that. But we're going to throw now to Cam, who's got a bit of a bio for you for anyone listening who maybe doesn't know the full history. So over to you, Cam.
Pressure's on, yeah. So obviously our guest today, Pat, one of Australia's best distance runners ever produced. He's a 3-time Olympian, showing his versatility across the 10K and then now transitioning into the marathon. Based out of the US after a successful college career, the Queenslander has won the 2016-17 NCAA cross-country championship, something not many Australians have had the privilege of doing. He's the Australian champion in the 10K in the past and has previously held the 10K Australian record. He's the third fastest Australian marathoner ever, one of 3 people to go under 2:08. And most importantly, he's now part of the Never Run Alone touring party to Boston. So welcome, Pat. Welcome. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
How'd he go?
I think it's
Good.
all right.
Good. Bang on. Yeah. Hit all the
One
highlights.
One question I had to ask you off the top. I was going over through your, some YouTube clips, some highlights, whatever, and there was basically 3 Pat Tiernans. There was running Pat Tiernan. There was pub singer Pat Tiernan, who had covers of himself singing at the pub, and then there was a used car dealership Pat Tiernan. So I want to know which are the 2, pub singer or used car dealership, you think you'd be going into outside of running?
The pub singer one was a little bit of an undercover boss situation. So
nice.
That was pre-running.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. We'll leave the cars as they are.
Leave the cars alone. I got no clue what I'm talking about there.
Good stuff. Maybe we'll jump straight into Boston then. Last year I remember getting up and watching and seeing a tall Australian in all pink, I think it was, running with the lead dogs, and came across in an amazing 2:08.08 for 11th. How do you think, I guess, that course, you've done a couple marathons now, but what's brought you back to go do it again after what was a pretty successful run last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing I love about the marathon is that you can really base it around the Olympic cycle. So, you're really only doing 2 marathons a year. Some people are able to do 3, which is amazing. But for me, I think just being a bigger body in the elite side of the sport, it's two's the most I can handle in a year. So when you add that up, you're really doing 8 races in an Olympic cycle if things go well. You've only got 18 months of that where you can actually qualify for the Olympics. And so, the way I see it, I try and target a fast, prioritize running a fast one in the 18 months where it really counts towards that Olympics kind of thing. So, realistically, since Paris, I spoke to Nick, my agent, and just kind of said, look, over this next couple of years, before we're able to get a mark on the board for LA, let's try and prioritize, marathons where I can practice racing. And it's hard to practice racing in a race where they're going out 60, 61, through the half, because I'm just not there. Whereas, I love, Boston was one I wanted to do because there's no paces. It is a downhill start, so you can can actually go out with the leaders if they go out a little bit faster, and it doesn't take as much of a toll on the body through that first half. But I think it just really reinforces, like, you're still doing this to race, like everyone wants to go and run a fast marathon and run a fast half and stuff like that. But when you get to that Olympic race, nobody cares what your PB is, like you got to be able to show up, you got to be able to compete with those guys. And that's my priority, like through this last year and, the upcoming year, is just to try and get better at those kind of races while I can, before, having to switch then into trying to run a fast time to qualify for the race where I can use those skills. So Boston's one of them. I was hoping to run New York this past November, but had some injury issues leading into it, so that didn't come together. But that's another one where there's no paces. It's just a rolling course. People aren't doing it to run a fast time. They're doing it to go and get a race in and compete. So that's the motivation for me behind doing Boston. Plus, it's just a really cool event. Like, you guys will experience it when you come over, but it's, I don't know, there is something to it. People get really, really excited about the Boston Marathon over there. Like my parents came over last year and they were like, this is pretty crazy.
It's a lot.
Like, yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, so those are the motivations behind it.
Love that. Yeah, I'm doing New York as well at the end of this year. And Rin did New York 2 years ago. So
yeah, that's a cool one to do as well. Yeah.
Yeah, New York was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see how Cam goes over there. I'd love to know, Pat, for you, I guess, future aspirations. Obviously, being from Queensland, we've got the Brisbane Olympics in 2032. I imagine that might be on the horizon on, beyond LA Olympics in a couple of years' time. But do you have any ambitions to run a marathon in Australia in the next few years? Sydney's now become a major. I'll be running it again this year. I think Cam, are you running it as well this year, Cam? I'm not sure you are.
I don't think so. I think I'm just going to be chief spectator.
Chief spectator this year for Cam. Yeah. He paced me last year. Grateful for that. But yeah, do you have any aspirations on doing that? Obviously, you've been based in the US now for a little while, but any plans to come back home maybe before the Brisbane Olympics in 2032?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, like we were just talking about, it's nice being able to plan out, like, an ideal kind of race schedule a long way out. And so Sydney's definitely one that I've had, marked down for, I think if things go well and I'm able to get my, qualifier out of the way early in the window, because it should open up at December of this year, Sydney in 2027 could be a really good fit for, like we were saying, like going into a race where you're trying to win it, like it's one in, just what they win it in this past, like 206 or 207 maybe, 206, 205, yeah.
For 6:30 or something.
Yeah, so like, if you want to compete at the Olympics, that's the kind of race that you want to be able to try and win, So I think, things going well. I'd love to try and get down there next year for it. And, obviously in doing that, maybe come down early and give, the Gold Coast half a go or some races leading up to it. But I think, we'll get to LA first. Brisbane would be awesome. But that's another 6 years of running, and the qualifier only gets faster.
Yeah.
So, but no, I think, to me, that's like a dream scenario would be, having my last ever race be in the Brisbane Olympics marathon. That would be a really cool thing to do. I'll be 37 or 38 by that point. So, but that would be cool. But definitely, I think, if Brisbane's something that's becoming a reality, my wife and I have talked about this a bit, where we'd love to potentially come back for a year or two, even leading into it. I mean, I think a home Olympics is just something that doesn't come around, let alone one that's literally in your backyard. So it's, it'd be cool to come back and be a bit of a, get amongst the community with that and try and build a little bit of hype around, around our sport. It's, it is a big deal in the Olympics, but it'd be nice to have it be a bigger deal in the other 4 years as well. So I think that would be, that would definitely be something I'd love to do, is to come back for at least a year leading into those Olympics and, be based in Australia for that build up.
Shades of Moneghetti there.
Love it.
Multiple Olympics going out with a
Yeah.
with a home Olympics to finish.
It would be good. It would be good.
Maybe giving Bruce McAvaney some commentary lines he can go down while watching. But yeah, beautiful stuff. Well, yeah, it'll be exciting to see. I'm interested to know, like, obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, you had quite a famous, infamous Tokyo race in the 10K. You know, probably a sign of your grit to be able to first off even hit a wall, or go to that well of reserve to push your body and go through a couple of falls and get over the line. How do you think? I was listening and reading some stuff in preparation for this about doing some mental work after that, getting yourself back in the right headspace for running. How do you think from then going to the marathon, those sort of, I guess, challenges you face in those races sort of help you when you get to that, not only just a race, but the training block and the pain cave? There's those moments, marathon, we've all been there, where you are just in your own head and you're working through those challenges. How do you think that's, I guess, played into that, your experience in the past Olympics and other races?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm not embarrassed to say that Paris was definitely a safer run for me. I don't think my race strategy there was I'm going in to try and finish top 5 here, which it definitely was in Tokyo. And I think I don't know. I think part of what went wrong in Tokyo was maybe mental and physical preparation not aligning. Like I'd say for the better part of 2 years, I was so mentally locked into, like, I'm going into these Olympics to try and, not even to try and, like, I'm going to finish top 5 in these Olympics. And, that's a great mentality to have, and you need that to be able to do it and whatnot. But I think it's one of those things where I think one of the bigger lessons I learned there was just like, okay, you have to back that up as well in what you're doing from a day-to-day standpoint. And quite honestly, from a running training standpoint, I did back it up. Like, I was doing everything right as far as sessions and things like that. But I think it was just kind of the smaller details, like our preparation for the heat. I think my coach had me, it was one of those situations where he had it lined up well for me to do, but just the things that I was supposed to do on my own and, meant to know on my own, I just didn't. Like, before going to the track, like, taking a cold shower to bring my body temperature down before I got there and stuff like that during the humidity camp that we did beforehand. I just wasn't doing those little things going into it. And they're things that you just kind of overlooked in the moment. You're able to get through the sessions and stuff like that. And so you're feeling like, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling ready. But in that process, like, you're also not going to the well like you're going to be going in the Olympic 10K final when they run a 50, a 152 last 800. So I think for me, it was just like, yeah, you can do everything right from a running standpoint. You can, be telling yourself year over year. Sorry, my dog's decided it wants to mess around. It's woken up from a 10-hour nap to do this.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, it's just like, you can do all those things right, but if you're, if you're not having other things to help complement what you're doing from a running and a mindset standpoint, then it's not going to come together on the day for you. And I think that was kind of the biggest lesson. And honestly, where I see Paris as a success for me was, I didn't go into it with a mindset that I'm going to finish top 5, and I probably wasn't as physically ready as I was from a running standpoint in Tokyo. But, I got all my cooling stuff done well. I got all my nutrition done well. And I crossed the line and actually felt, I felt strong in the last part of the race and things like that. And so for me, that was kind of it was a good stepping stone. And I think, if I was to go back 10 years and say which Olympics is going to be my best chance at a medal, I would have said 2024, like when I'm meant to be in the peak of my career and stuff. But I think at the same time, I kind of look back on that and I think, all right, I got all the I got all the pieces together well. It was just like, that was the 500-piece puzzle. Now we're going to try and do the 1,000-piece puzzle in LA, and actually do this thing right and get after it kind of thing. So, so Tokyo was really valuable. Obviously, took a little bit to get over the disappointment of it and figure out what went wrong and everything. But I think ultimately it's led to a lot of things over the last few years that are really going to benefit me in the lead up to these next Olympics.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because people probably, are so used to, especially, we have an audience that's probably like to think from an everyday runner up to, people who are quite, top of the sport. The consistency of like that you're going to have a moment where things don't go to plan. And I think normalizing that is something that's, I think, important to do because especially the world we live in of social media, you often just see the best of everything, your best times, best everything. You don't see first off, you don't see the work necessarily, you're talking about behind the scenes that goes into that result, but also you don't see, what it takes to come back from those setbacks and how they're kind of normal things, and it all contributes to the build, and your next race. Yeah, beautiful.
Very, very true. I'd love to know, you mentioned you're based in Philadelphia at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Were you in North Carolina for a period before?
I was, yeah. So we're in North Carolina moved there in 2022 when I signed with Puma and joined the group down there. And it went really well. I think I learned a lot. That was my transition to the marathon was with that group. And, I think, I've moved back up to Philadelphia just in the last couple of months and I'm going to be, I'm working with my coach from Villanova again, Marcus O'Sullivan. And, I think for me, that was kind of always the long-term plan was to come back and expand on what we did. But I think it's one of those things where you need to go away from the system that, that's working for you initially. I'd done this. I'd worked with Marcus for the better part of 8 years up until 2020, and I'd been running well and running PBs and things like that, but I just wasn't quite doing what I needed to do at the major championships. I didn't quite have that gear over the last 800 to really, to really excel at a major championship and do what I wanted to do from it. And so, he recommended to me to expand out and go and explore a little bit and see what other training's out there and, see, try and just learn a lot of things. And so, I've been in a couple of different training setups since then, and it's been really valuable. I think one thing that has been reinforced is that a lot of the stuff that I did here does work really well for me. I think it's a system that my body responds to really well and gets me 90 to 95% of the way there. But I really feel like in the last 4 years in being in those couple of other setups, I've been able to take away a few things that I'm like, oh, that would actually fit in really well into this time of year when we usually would, maybe not try and, push things. Like this could actually be a time where we could develop that. For example, with the marathon specifically, like I think the last 6 weeks of training that we would usually do down in North Carolina leading into a marathon, I think that could fit really well for me here. And I found I did it really well when I kind of applied more so the training that I would do with Marcus in the 10 to 12 weeks before that last 6-week push. So I think it's, but no, it was great. And honestly, that group's flying right now. Like they've got multiple sub 60 guys. But the group down there they're doing really well. And they've got a lot of guys who, it wasn't a problem of having anyone to push me. I think it was more so I was getting pushed very consistently, like day in, day out. And I think part of what my body doesn't respond to well is going to the well a lot. Like I think I'm definitely I think there's, to put it very generally, I think we all know there's people that train really well and don't race well, and there's people who maybe don't train as well but show up on race day and have a blinder there. And I wouldn't say that I don't train well, but I think I'm definitely someone who probably performs better going into a race slightly undercooked than being slightly overcooked kind of thing. But yeah, but yeah, no, it was a really valuable experience, and I'm glad, that had the opportunity to go and try a few different things, and have ultimately come back with more knowledge and more pieces to add to my regime, and I'm excited to be able to play with those a little bit and see what sticks well over the next 12 months.
Yeah, beautiful. Just on that, I'd love to know if you could maybe share with us maybe what the last week of training has been like for you. I think it's 6 weeks today.
Yeah.
At least for us here on the 9th of March.
Yeah.
6 weeks until Boston. What's the last week been like for you of training? And yeah, where do you feel you're at going into this race? Obviously, it's outside of that Olympic qualifying window, but
Yeah.
no doubt an important brick, we like to call them, as I'm sure you might have heard over the years.
Yeah.
A piece of the puzzle, as maybe you put it before, a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Yeah.
How's the body?
It's going well. It's going well. Yeah, like I said earlier, I had to pull out of New York because of a few injuries that were just stacking up, and I wasn't able to get right. So I had to take a little bit of time off to get those right. One was a torn calf muscle that just needed time. It was, I think there were just a lot of stresses going, and plus we were moving from North Carolina up to Philadelphia as well. And so it was just, I think ultimately my running for Boston, realistically say started in January. So it's been a very short build. But, I think at the same time, things have been coming together pretty quickly. I think we moved up here in mid-January, and I was able to, build my mileage up fairly safely but well throughout January and got sessions going in February. So, but long story short, this week was actually my first 160K week in a long time, and it was great. I think I'm generally for marathons, I've been fairly low mileage in comparison to what most elite marathoners are. So usually I'll try and get up to around 175 to at most 180K a week. So, to be up close to that range and in that ballpark, 6, 7 weeks out now, is great, and the body's responding really well. And, so 160K, I would say two sessions and a good long run. So today's long run was, for time, we just did 2 hours and 5 minutes. So, not your big kind of long run that a lot of guys are doing. But, I covered just over 20 miles. So what's that, like 33K? And it felt good. Yeah, it was good. Like, it was just a nice, natural kind of progression through it. Didn't get down to anything crazy, but the body felt strong. And, something we're going to build on with that long run is, not trying to get it up to the 2.5 hour runs that most people would, but more so, make it a quality run. So try and get 35 to 40K done in, 2:15 to 2:20 something, probably, with a bit of a marathon effort over once we get to that 30K mark, to try and simulate what that effort feels like in the marathon. But yeah, so that was today. I'm working backwards. Saturday was just an easy hour. Friday was kind of a new session for me. So it was 20 by 400 on the track, but short recovery, so 30 seconds, and not anything like 72, 73. So essentially it's like marathon pace. So it feels very comfortable. But the objective there is to not have, we do a lot of stuff based off of heart rate and blood lactate levels. And so the objective there is to keep your blood lactate level under 2.0, which for a marathon, you're probably maintaining about 2.2, 2.3 for the majority of it. So the goal with this session is like be a marathon pace, goal marathon pace, but keep it under what essentially your legs are going to feel for that pace in the marathon. So, I think we'll expand that out to 24, and, the goal is then to slowly extend the length of the rep and maintain the pace of it as you go on. So that was Friday, 30-minute double with that as well. Thursday was a midweek long run for me, so 90 minutes. I think that was about 22K, so nothing crazy, just time on the legs. Wednesday we went out and did 4 by 2 miles, so 4 by 3.2K, out on the bike path out here, which is, one of the reasons I love training around here is they've got this phenomenal stretch goes for 30 miles. It's amazing. But yeah, and that was kind of a similar thing. So not necessarily marathon pace, but keeping things below marathon effort again. So, that wasn't anything crazy. That was probably 3:14 to 3:15 per K pace. But once again, short recovery, just kind of get there, turn around, shake your legs out a little bit and get going again. So, but that stuff's been coming on really well. I feel like the paces for those have been jumping pretty significantly each week. And the goal for that session will be, 4 by 3 mile down at marathon pace, but hitting the right kind of heart rate and lactate numbers that we're looking for it. So all those things will kind of develop over the next 4 weeks, which is exciting to see. And then, I think a double that day, like a 30-minute double in the evening, just a local run club here actually, which is kind of fun. And then Tuesday
I'll see a
will
rude
be
shock to some of those locals. Just 208, 207 guy just coming
What's
down for a trot.
what's the run club? Give them a shout out. What's the name?
run club here is the Fairmount Running Club. So it's
Okay.
they meet in front of the Eastern State Penitentiary here, which is the local historic
Nice.
prison. Yeah.
There you go.
Um, but so that was fun.
Got locked
And then Tuesday and Monday just run days and strides. So generally an hour in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening, and some strides after that. Gym on Tuesday, gym and physio on Thursday. And a couple of engagement parties on Saturday. So it was a good week. Yeah.
Superb.
There you go. Big. I was gonna I guess go back to the bringing it back from a elite level to normal everyday runners, maybe the run club runners that you're going out with on a morning. What do you think applies most from, I guess, your whole running career throughout up to elite level that you would give back as a tidbit in terms of marathon training, racing, that is just a pure consistent across all levels and something that will give some people something to think about as they're maybe training or racing a marathon or even a shorter race as the professional in the room?
No, this is a good question, because I feel like this is kind of part of the reason why we moved back up to Philly as well was I think just the first thing is just it's got to be, you got to enjoy it. Running a marathon when you just hate the training and struggling to find motivation to do it is not fun. And then the race itself is hard to do. So I think, first things first, surrounding yourself in an environment where you're not going to look forward to running every day, but you are having more days where you're looking forward to doing it than not, kind of thing. I think that's the number one thing. And two is just consistent running. I know it seems like a very simple and basic thing, but I think you ask the majority of elites what the secret is for all of them, and it's going to be just consistency over time. And I think, I was thinking about this on my long run today. Like, if somebody would ask me what, if they were starting from scratch, they had a goal to run a certain time, like what I would give them for training, it would just be to like just get out and run a little bit more each day. Just do the basic things and like do something that is, from a training standpoint, that's sustainable, and that you can wrap your head around mentally. Like, and if that's simply just getting out and doing something, some kind of run each day, you're going to be in a much better space than if you were, slugging every day, trying like, and having to battle demons like day in, day out to get to the start line. Like, it's just not. I don't think that's a recipe for success. Some people can do it, and obviously, that's probably the missing piece that I don't have to get that medal right now. But I do think that's a huge part of it, is just having realistic expectations from a training standpoint, not in the sense of like limiting yourself from a performance standpoint, but realistic in what you can actually do, given what you have going on in life. I think building your training program around your life rather than building your life around your training program is, I think everyone would benefit from that. And it just makes the run so much more enjoyable. So I don't know if that's exactly what you were looking for an answer, but
That's good.
It's what I've found is working for me. So
Pat, have you always enjoyed your running, or have you gone through a period where it's been quite hard? And if so, how did you get through that?
Yeah, I definitely haven't always enjoyed it. It's been, I don't know. I think I found that when I wasn't enjoying it, it was because I didn't have anything going on outside of running. Or at least I didn't think I had anything going on outside of running, and it kind of makes you feel, well, it made me feel a little bit isolated in what I was doing. And that was another part of us moving back up to Philly as well, my wife, she runs as well. And we were both part of the group down in North Carolina, and like I said, they're a great group of people, and we really got along well with them, and they'll be mates for life kind of thing. But we didn't have that many friends outside of the group there, and we found it really difficult to kind of go out and meet new people outside of the running sphere. And but we'd already done that up here, like we lived in Philly for 4 years after we graduated from university here. And, one of the things I loved about my university experience was that I made a lot of mates who were not on the track and field team, like it gave me kind of a little escape from that realm of things. And, they're all kind of still based in the Philly area. And so, we really enjoyed our time here in the 3 or 4 years after we graduated. And, like I said, like through that time, I wasn't quite getting the results at the major championships that I wanted to, but I was running really well and I was enjoying my running, like I was having a great time. And, we moved out to Oregon initially, and that was when my coach here recommended that I, if I wanted to make a push towards a medal or a top 5 finish, that was what I needed to do. And I had a great experience out there. I really got along well with with my teammates out at Oregon. And I think part of that also was that, one of my best mates out there, he texted me before I came out and he said, make sure you bring your golf clubs. Because he was like, we're going to be doing a lot of golfing while you're here, kind of thing. And it was, it seems kind of counterproductive because I feel like people think, you should be locked in and doing, you're running, resting, physio, running, sleeping kind of thing. But for me, like, I love that because it was just, if we got out once every couple of weeks, it was 4 hours where running was the furthest thing from my mind. Like, I did not care. All I cared about was trying not to shank my drive off into the woods every hole. And it was just like, I think it just made running such a enjoyable experience, and, gave me a little bit of self-value outside of it. And so, so then when we moved to North Carolina, it was, I didn't have that. I didn't have that, that thing outside of running. And so I think I got very caught up in my own head about things. And, when the training was a lot more intense than I was used to. So, I would definitely get in my head about that. And when things were hard, everything was hard, like it was hard to get out of that mindset of running's not going how I want it to go. So it just felt like there was nothing else that was going well. And, I got to the point where Angel and I, had a conversation. We said, look, we just have to go somewhere where running isn't our entire existence. Like we need it to be a part of who we are, not all of who we are. And so, that, enjoy just having running being something that I love to do, and I'm just curious to see how far I can go with it. I knew that if I was gonna try and make it to 2032, I wasn't going to make it if I didn't have anything else going on, So, and that's been great. Just in the couple of months that we've been here, I feel a lot lighter. Part of that's probably running more, losing a bit of weight, but it's just, but it's, it just feels, when you're surrounded by people who are excited to see you and are not seeing you for work, it just makes it a much more enjoyable life experience. So, So to answer your question, yes, there's been ups and downs, but we're trying to prioritize making running a much more enjoyable experience moving forward.
Beautiful
that's
stuff.
An important one for people. You can see it even at the top level. It's just don't have everything be all about your running. Having things outside of it is the key probably to success in it as well.
Absolutely.
Love it. Yeah,
beautiful, mate. Do we have much more time? Do you have another question, Cam? I know we're coming close.
I was going to say, what's your one tip for Boston? I need all the inside goss.
One tip for Boston is Heartbreak Hill is not the only hill. There are 3 hills before Heartbreak. So I think it's around, God, I'm doing everything in miles. What's 15 or 16 miles? Maybe 20, 25?
Yeah, 25 is 16 is 25.
Yeah, so around 25 or 26K, I think, is when the first hill is. And it's kind of a longer gradual one. It's not too bad. The second hill is shorter but steeper, so that'll take a bit out of you. Third hill is a bit longer but gradual again. And then you hit Heartbreak. After that, Heartbreak's not until about 32K, I don't think. But you go up Heartbreak, and then Heartbreak, you come down, but you're kind of rolling down until you get to, I don't know what that means. There's essentially a strip from 22, so 35K up until 40K, where you're just running straight. Essentially, till you get to that road, it's kind of just like rolling hills after Heartbreak Hill. So, I would say make sure you've got a little bit in the tank lined up for 25 to 35. But outside of that, honestly, 35 in is if you're feeling half decent, it's a nice run in. Like, it's pretty flat, and then the energy only builds as you get going. So, it's a good one.
Beautiful, mate. Hopefully we see you at the finish line. We do a finish line podcast usually.
Nice.
So if you're still there, if I haven't come in an hour or so after you, which is almost certainly going to happen, we can get you on the pod.
Shoot us a message. We'll be around. We can you can grab a coffee, or actually we'll have to grab a Guinness up there.
I was
I was
going to
gonna
say,
say
we need
some
to know
pub-
where to go after.
Yeah,
Some pub
There's a
karaoke,
lot of
was it?
Irish pubs up there. So,
That's what I need.
that'll be good.
So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
the celebrations after is already the big motivator.
Well, I imagine coming 11th, 208, you would have been top Aussie last year, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was the only Aussie in the elite field, so
That's right.
it wasn't too bad. But I
Is that
think
the same this year? Do you know if anyone else? Yeah, any other Aussies? I don't.
Andy was
but
entered.
he's out now.
He's out now,
Yeah.
is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Izzy's in there, so just got to beat her. But hopefully we're okay with that.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if the women go first, the men go first. But yeah, no other Aussies that I know of. Obviously, just if things go, sorry Cam, but if things go terribly and you're coming past me, that would be a rough day. I probably
That'd
won't.
be a dark day.
I probably won't come on pod if that happens. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's fair. I'll be hunting you down. I'll buy you the first Guinness.
I'll keep him on a leash so we can get you on the pod again. I'll just say, hey, give him 5 seconds.
Yeah,
across
if
that
you
line.
see me on Boylston Street, just think about the pod.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Love that. Oh, well. It'll be a good character chase.
It
immediately goes out to the distance and I lose you straight off the start line. So that'll be good. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that'll be good. Let us know your movements. We'll definitely link up after.
Sounds good, man.
Beautiful, Pat. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Never Run Alone. Appreciate it. Any final thoughts, final words from you, mate?
I think you've said it well. Never run alone. Find yourself a local group to run with and have some fun with it.
That's it.
Beautiful, mate.
Love it.
Thank you so much. Well, we will throw back to the main show now. Thanks so much for your time. All the best in Boston. We'll
Thanks,
see you.
mate.
We'll see you at the finish line. Probably
Sounds
not
good.
the start line.
Best of luck to you both as well. See you over there.
And we're back. Thank you to Pat, Cam.
What an
was
interview.
Good little chat, hey?
Yeah, great guy. Very humble, well spoken. I'm very excited to see how he goes. I feel like it's cool to be able to speak to someone who is so far at the top of the game. Like 208.01, I think it was last year in Boston. Insane. Just 11th mental. Keen to see how he goes this year.
I was going to say that was just behind Clayton Young.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
207
I
or
think he was
something like
next
that.
in.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, absolute weapon and love a guy. So looking forward to hopefully catching him maybe for a Guinness after the race in.
Yeah, potentially not catching him on
Boston.
the course, but catching him for a Guinness.
I would say there is a very, very good chance that I won't be catching him.
Finish line.
Hey, you
pod,
won't be too
Pat.
far behind him.
If he's still around, we'll get him on
The distance between you and Pat and then you and me is going to be
Greater.
Yeah,
smaller.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Smaller, greater. Yeah.
We'll see how we go. Anyway,
Nice
You know what I
one.
mean.
Big shout out to Pat. Thanks for coming
Thanks
on
for
and
coming
joining us. We'll now jump in a buy sell. Who's got a buy sell for us to kick things off?
I got to buy.
let's do it.
I'm buying country music.
Whoa,
Country music is sick, dude.
dude! I just had the rainy run with a whole bunch of literally just had country rolling the whole way. It was great.
Mate,
Real moody.
it's epic. We had a country showcase for work last night. Just a couple of artists out from the US and New Zealand. A dude called, I think it's Zach Griffin from New Zealand.
Sounds
Tucker
like a country
Wetmore.
artist. So it's like that.
Tucker Wetmore is very
It's
much
like an AI name.
a country man. And dude, it's so good. It's such wholesome music. Just, I want to drink beer and kiss my wife.
Yeah, fair enough.
Beautiful.
Fair enough. You should note that you work in music for anyone who's new and doesn't.
I do
doesn't
work in
know
music,
What you do?
yes.
Why there's a country showcase at your work?
Yeah, you had a
love that.
Wiggles showcase a few weeks ago, right?
It's like, wow,
What
that's
do
a
I
weird
do,
team
man?
building.
I don't even know.
Didn't buy the
Yeah.
Wiggles though. Just no.
Love it. Love it.
But yeah, listen to more country music, guys. It's great.
Good stuff. Good for an easy run, especially when there's a
Oh,
bit of
so
drizzle.
good.
It just feels like you're just in a moody, like, yeah, it's nice. Love it. I'm buying getting around local races from the weekend.
Yeah.
It was just, there's something real wholesome about seeing people just give it a crack. There was a 10K, there's a 5K, there was like a 1500 meters, a 500 meter run for kids. Like there was so many people out and about. It was just like good vibes. Everyone really wholesome. I know there's like a pretty competitive like elite field race on, but there was also like some really wholesome, parents running their kids, people with disabilities and other struggles that are going on, and getting around running, even if it was 1,500 meters or doing the 5K and like walk running. It was just sick. Like I just really got around it, and I really enjoyed the vibe. It's right through the middle of town, so it was fun. Yeah, I just getting back into races just made me think like there needs to be more, and I'm going to try and make an effort to try and travel to more like small town races and just get around the local vibe. It's cool.
Love that. So good.
You know what? Do the Linfield Fun Run with me in, I think it's like the end of May.
Now we're
they've got
talking. It's like a suburb. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. A 10K, 5K, and then I think like a 1K or something like that. Similar vibes. Very, very family
Linfield's
friendly.
not that big.
Yeah. It's 2 loops of the 5K.
I was going to say a triple
Nice.
out and back or something.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out
I
to.
drove
shout out
past the
to
sign for that the other day, and I
Liverpool.
was like, that actually kind of would
Hectic.
be fun.
Yeah, I have to suss if it's the weekend in Japan, but if not, I'm there, mate.
Oh, true.
Let's do it. Throw down.
Beautiful.
Love it. Wonder if I get the same elite field as Buff the boat ramp.
You might have a chance for a podium, Cam. I'd hope.
Yeah, maybe.
Imagine if you still finish 11th.
Huge.
Yeah, that might be.
That would be the
tough.
most stacked odd field of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Rinners, what do you got?
Stuff.
Bring us home.
Yeah, I've got a buy as well.
Triple
It's
buy. We're all positive this week.
pretty niche. It's the Melbourne Football Club's social media team. And I feel like I might have
super
mentioned
niche.
this a
Up
few
the
weeks
Ds.
ago. Because they did a really good membership launch. I didn't mention it. I must have just been
No.
talking to people about it. Anyway,
You're back in
on for
Melbourne. It's all footy.
For anyone who doesn't know, we had a great round 1 win over the weekend on Sunday. But just the
Swanee's
social
top of the
media,
table, mate.
Swanee's top of the league. Happy days. And yeah, the D social media, they're just killing it. A lot of funny videos. They've got this new away alternative kit that's just come out, and they just dropped like this 90s inspired video. And it's obviously all the content that we're sort of putting out and thinking with. We've obviously had the last 2 episodes somewhat geared around content. I just thought I'd buy that this week. So
Great stuff.
really, it's just like a social media team of a sporting club doing it well, bringing the vibes for the club. I'm sure as soon as we lose a game, it's all going to go out the window.
Dire
but
straits.
that is the nature of sport and fans online. So there you go.
It's like
Buying
those.
the-
Have
buying
you
the
ever
Ds.
seen like the memes of like team social media page and they win, and it's just like crazy memes, like insane footage and stuff like that, and then when they lose, it's just like final and it's like the score. And it's
We
like,
we
yeah.
fall.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like full time at the G, and it's just like the score is they got belted by 60. Or if they win, it's just like players are up and about. There's like
It's actually a
memes and stuff
guilty
like that.
pleasure of
Great.
mine to look at the losing club social media
course.
posts and read the comments.
Of course.
It's so good though. Like
Yeah.
Carlton, I know I'm going real niche now in the AFL,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
go look at Carlton. I know they won
Comes to
last
fire at
week,
the moment.
but terrible. Any of them.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it.
So
Love it. Great stuff.
there you go. That's been the
Good
pod.
content.
Big shout out to Eliud Kipchoge. Hopefully
Yeah.
I've pronounced his name right. He's coming
First
back
time
to
you've ever said that
Australia.
name correctly.
First
He's
time
coming
I
back
said
to
his
Melbourne
name correct.
Marathon.
Second time in 2 years. He's coming back. Melbourne Mara in October.
Yep.
Sold out,
Saw,
but I think there's some
content down there
tickets.
last year and thought
Yeah.
got to get down there.
He wants to come on Never Run Alone. Don't worry, I made sure to comment on the
Live
post
from
with
the G.
with the eye emoji. See you soon, eye emoji from the Never Run
Nice.
Alone account.
Yeah, I like it.
So yeah, we
Great stuff.
could have him on the pod in the next six months or so. But he'll be running the streets of Melbourne. More incentive for us to be there in the
Yeah,
we'll be
half
there.
at least. Yeah,
We'll be there.
beautiful.
Love
there you
it.
go.
I love it.
That's been the
Great
pod.
stuff.
Thank you
to
everyone
Pat
for
Tiernan.
listening.
Thank
Pat
you, Linesman.
Tiernan.
Thank you, all boys.
Thank you to the questions. Shout out to
New
everyone
and
who
new.
submitted.
Any new listeners who are stuck in this long, let us know what you think. Give us a 5 stars, I want a 5-star. I want more.
Want
Greedy.
some 5 stars. We want some follows on the gram. Share it to everyone you know who
Yeah,
wants
tell
to
your
know
name.
about running. And good luck to everyone training for whatever big or small races.
There's a
They're
few on the
all-
moment.
They're all important.
Ballarat, Boston, London's going at the moment. There's heaps.
Linfield at the end of May. Don't forget that.
True.
There you go.
That's true. Don't forget. Love
Don't
it.
forget.
Great
All right,
stuff,
that's been the
man.
pod. Thank you all for listening. Come on, come all,
Come
running.
running.
Come running.